With it being 2:01, I'd like to go ahead and call the City and Florence Design Review Board meeting to order. Everyone was emailed and mailed the packets of the prior meeting. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes?
Yes, sir.
Any corrections or a motion?
Motion to approve is.
Got a motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, our first case for public hearing today is case DRB 2023-03. It's a request for a certificate of appropriateness for construction of an accessory building to be located on West Chevis Street and specifically identified by Florence County Tax Map number 90087-01-016 in the D2 Downtown Overlay District. Staff?
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So Central United Methodist Church is seeking a certificate of appropriateness to construct an accessory storage building in one of their existing parking lots. This is to house materials for their Better Education Deserves Sleep ministry. They ask for donations for bedding materials, and they actually construct beds and donate those to children who may go without having a bed, and they'll do that once a year, normally in October. They'll get together and construct the beds, so they need a place to store it. Here's the vicinity map. This is the proposed location of the accessory building. That's across the street from the administrative office for Central United. And it is in the Central Business District and the Downtown Central Overlay District. Here's some site photos. There is an existing carport structure in the parking lot, across the parking lot from where they're proposing this storage building, and next door I believe that was an old dental office, which is vacant. So here's the existing carport, and then you can see Central United Methodist. This is how far it is away from the parking lot. So here is the proposed site plan. It will remove about 10 parking spaces. There are no minimum parking requirements in the Central Business District. As is understood, we'll all just kind of share, and with parking garages, there are no minimums. Here's some elevations of the building. So they're looking at a 80-foot long, 30-foot wide building of 2,400 square feet. It will have black architectural shingle roof, white garage doors, a white personnel door, and white soffit trim. As far as the Unified Development Ordinance for this particular type of accessory storage building, the accessory storage building will not meet the requirements of items 2 or 3. Currently, there's no landscape screening that's being proposed. And instead of 150 feet away from the right-of-way, it's only 100. And then the design guidelines say that this accessory building needs to fall within the building envelope. The particular setbacks for this Downtown Central Overlay District has a build-to line of 1/2 foot. But it does seem to be more for principal buildings trying to create that wall along the streetscape. And then also other guidance provided for accessory buildings in the UDO. It does have a height limitation of 17 feet. This will be 22 feet in height. And then the Planning and Enabling Act does give the Design Review Board power to approve construction projects in an overlay district. All details of construction. As far as the design guidelines, the storage building brick facade they're going to try to match what's on the existing church, that reddish brick. The storage building could be removed in the future to take it back to its current character. It will be approximately 22 feet in height. The 2 white metal garage doors will be approximately 18 feet 8 inches in width and about 8 feet in height. And it will have one regular white metal door, personnel door, and that will all be oriented to the interior of the parking lot. So what you will see from the street is just the side of the A-frame building. the black architectural shingle roof, matching brick facade, and it will have an A-frame roof. Doors and soffit trim will be white. So that does conclude staff's report.
Thank you, staff. Does anyone have any questions for staff?
Got a question. What makes this an accessory building if there's no primary building on the site?
Right. Just its character, its nature as a storage building.
And just once again, for clarification, the front facade will face, the garage doors will face, not face the street, not face.
Exactly. They will face interior to the parking lot. So the view from the street will just be this side, the side elevation at the top left. So that brick facade.
Could you review the, just go over those non-compliant items again, just so we can, because that's obviously the pinch point.
That's the pinch point. So the items 2 and 3, it needs to be located behind the principal building, no principal building per se, and at least 150 feet away from street rights of way. So it's about 100 feet away, proposed to be about 100 feet away.
But it's tucked in the back corner of the lot, basically, right? 'Cause it's a
Exactly.
satellite lot.
And there's already an accessory building already in the parking lot. And then the other thing was that completely screened from view from adjacent properties. Again, this being an accessory building, it seems that the code would indicate some sort of landscape screening or to be screened by the principal building itself.
And how far, the fact that nothing is called out for screening, is there potential for that? If you go back to that site plan or photo, can you show us that?
This photo?
Right.
Yes, sir.
Who owns the property to the plan right?
Right, I think that is an old dentist office. I'm not sure who the current owner
Okay,
is
so
or
it's
what
not
the
the
current
church.
plans are. And then just the height, the difference in height. The proposed building would be about 5 feet higher than what would be permitted for an accessory building.
If you flatten the roof, it wouldn't look right.
Now, the adjacent building, what's the height on that one? Do you know?
It's not a very tall building. It's pretty flat.
Is that a flat roof also or A-frame?
It's just a flat.
Okay.
There's kind of you can see the corner of it on the picture. It's
Okay.
Riding by it on the way here, it looks to be unoccupied and in pretty bad shape.
You mentioned the height is considerable to other ones in the area, though.
It is pretty close. It would be pretty close to the one next to it and the carport on the same parking lot.
Okay, any other questions of staff? Anyone here to speak in this matter? Okay, no one here to speak. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing and open it up for discussion. Or motion.
Does the board have the latitude to, obviously we have the latitude to approve something that technically doesn't comply?
That's correct. By the Planning and Enabling Act.
Yeah, my only thoughts is, it seemed to me that I would encourage them to do the things that they can do. And to me, it's very lonely out there. If you were doing a new parking lot, you have to have landscaping in your parking lot. So to me, if they have the square footage in the area, I would encourage them to do something to buffer it, shroud it, soften it up some, because I don't know, to me it's a little stark. And that's something that, if you're going to spend this kind of money on a building, why wouldn't you want to do something to make it?
So something like a curb buffer just on the street side view, just to
And it's
landscape.
literally called for. I mean, so why would you not include that in your proposal if you could? At least encourage them to do it. That's my 2 cents.
If that's a motion, that can be included.
You can always include that in the motion. Somebody else can make the motion, but I would encourage that we would do something, if you're inclined to add some buffer landscaping, especially on that one side between the building and the property line.
Historically, often this issue like this comes up with projects, and the board has always kind of made a motion to recommend staff to work with the applicant to develop a plan to resolve that issue, and that's certainly something the board can do at this time.
Thank you, Clint.
Yes, I have a question on the future plans, because if you approve it as it's an adjacent structure, but there's no main building that it's adjacent to, but if there was one in the future, now it really becomes an adjacent, but it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of room to ever build a main building. So you'd hate to approve it as one thing, and then down the road it kind of gets grandfathered in on all these things that most adjacent buildings would have to comply to. So I don't know, it's just tricky. It seems harmless, but then you don't want to set a precedent for other things as well.
Are we considering this, I mean, I know it's a separate lot, but is it part of the church's campus, if you will? Is that the thought process here?
I would think so, yes, sir.
Because the church would never sell it or anything like that, most likely. It would most likely just be one thing. It just happens to be across the street, but on the same campus.
Make a motion that we approve the project as submitted, conditional upon the applicant working with staff to make it as compliant as possible with the guidelines.
Have a second?
Okay.
A second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries and the certificate will be issued. Michael?
Oh, I thought he did. Okay, I second. Second. Second, you third.
That's why I was confused.
I thought you strongly did that, Mike. Okay. Having no other cases, any other matters that need to be brought forth to the board?
I think we're good.
Okay, our next meeting will be held here at 2 p.m. on April 12th, and we are adjourned.
All right.